And we're back. Okay, welcome back everybody. We're talking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 5 today. Before we get to that, I got a couple updates for you. I'm doing a review of the Nevers premiere. I wrote it last night. I'm going to shoot that after I get done with this. I'm going to try to have that done and uploaded for tomorrow. Hopefully just in time for episode 2. I know that's a little late, but it's on Sunday, so that's kind of a difficult night. So that's going to be the next one. And next week I got the Mortal Kombat review. So it'll be the Nevers, then Batwoman, and then I guess Mortal Kombat. So that'll be the one that'll be what I do next week. I already made a couple thumbnails for that one, so that'll be the one after that. And also, I got a little update with for the live streams. I may have to make a decision about these, about whether to continue them or not, because my ad revenue right now is not acceptable, but it's okay. But my analytics are crap, and subscriber growth is even worse. And I can't help but feel like it's because of the live streams, because of the way the algorithm works now. Because if you're not releasing videos that are bangers, if like a video just doesn't do well, it's going to bring the whole channel down. It's just the way things work currently. Which sucks because financially the live streams have been worth doing because of super chat revenue. But if they're bringing the analytics down this much, then it's just not, it might not even be worth it to me. So I'm going to have to make some kind of a decision on that. I'm not sure what I should do, whether I should start a second channel just for live streams and put all the live streams on that one. But if I did that, then I wouldn't be able to monetize it right away. Or I could try doing like short take reviews instead, where I continue talking about these things every week, but in like a shorter format, like in a video that's less than 10 minutes, and just giving my brief reactions on it instead of like the long form stuff that I do with Batwoman. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys would prefer, and maybe we could think about that. But I'm gonna have to do something, because something ain't clicking right now. Because my analytics cannot continue the way they are right now. That sucks. And if my sub growth continues at this rate, I'm not even gonna get to 40,000 subscribers this year. And that I cannot tolerate. I wanted to get to 40,000 last year. So, yeah, I need to, even if I tripled my subscriber growth right now, it would still be too low. That's how much it sucks right now. So something's got to give. And I can't help but feel like it's something to do with the live streams. So something's got to change about that. So we're going to do this. We're going to finish Falcon Winter Soldier, and then maybe something's going to change. I'm not sure what the change will be just yet. Let me know in the chat room what you think. In the meantime, let's talk about this week's episode. Excuse me. All right, so Falcon Winter Soldier episode 5. As usual, I'm going to cover everything. I'm going to spoil everything, and then we'll do super chats and comments at the end. And I don't want this one to run too long because I got to save my voice, because I got to record the Nevers review right after I get done with this. So let's try to keep this one short and sweet, or shorter and sweet anyway. The episode begins right where the last one left off. John Walker's running into a warehouse, and he's kind of having an anxiety attack of some sort. Flashing back to Lamar, telling him that he always made the right decisions in battle, which he clearly does not. He's completely snapped under the pressure at this point. So Sam and Bucky confront him. They try to talk him down. But John says he had to kill this man because he killed Lamar. He didn't. That was an execution, but this is what he's saying. And it's not clear if John believes this or if it's just something he's telling himself. Anyway, Sam says John needs to give him the shield, and John gets triggered by that. Sam does not want this to turn into a fight, but Bucky's cool with it, so they fight. it's a really good fight. It's definitely brutal. One of the more brutal things they've done on this show. And again, we see how unhinged John is becoming. He thinks they're making him do this because obviously him just giving up the shield is not an option. And it comes down to him versus Sam. He rips Sam's wings off, almost kills Sam. He's about to murder him with the shield. But between Bucky's strength and Sam's thrusters, they're able to get the shield off, breaking John's arm. But then John is still fighting with the arm like it's not broken afterward. And then later on, he's in a sling. So I'm not sure. I don't know what happened there. Maybe the super soldier serum allows him to fight with broken limbs. Who knows? And then there's this funny move where Bucky swings John around and right into a Sam dropkick like it's pro wrestling or something. And then that's what ends the fight. So Bucky picks up the shield, takes a look at himself with it for a second, and which autocorrect changed to seance. I'm sorry, I'm just very OCD about this. So he looks at himself with it, and then he drops it in front of Sam and walks away. There's still some resentment there, but that's probably the closest we're going to get to them addressing the idea of maybe Bucky should have got the shield instead of Sam. And I'm okay with them leaving it like that, honestly. I mean, for a while, yeah, it made sense. It made more sense for Bucky to get it, probably, but mentally, he's just not in the right place for it. You know, and we've seen what happens when someone who can't handle the pressure tries to be Captain America. It goes badly. And, you know, Bucky, he's still got all that PTSD from the Winter Soldier. He's not... Emotionally, you might want him to have it, but he's not the guy. At least not right now. Bucky needs to finish dealing with his own issues before he could ever do something like that. So Sam wipes the blood off the shield. He's a little emotional about this. Later on, he says the GRC are conducting raids, but they haven't found Carly, just her followers. So Bucky takes off. Thorias comes in and explains that Captain America killing a foreign national is an international incident, so now the higher-ups are taking over. And since Carly's in the wind right now and has lots of people helping her, Sam's not going to find her, so best to just sit back and wait until there's something to do. So Sam takes the shield, leaves the wings, and goes back to America. So John returns home. He's now a hated man in the eyes of the public. Everybody's, shows up to boo him and trash him, and he faces not a tribunal. It's just a Senate subcommittee or whatever it is. He's stripped of his title as Captain America. He receives a less than honorable discharge, loses all his benefits, his rank. He tries to give his side of things, but the senator's not having it. He doesn't care. So John just blows up at this guy. And, I live my life by your mandates. I did what I was trained to do. I did it well. And totally loses his cool. And here's my issue with John. He's clearly got a ton of PTSD from his time in the military. What's missing is a connection between that stuff and what he's doing now. He had to do some things in Afghanistan that messed him up, obviously, but we haven't seen that. We heard him talk about it once, but that's not really enough to inform his behavior here. If he was going to unravel this much this quickly, I think we needed some flashbacks that show how he got so screwed up. Because without that, we're missing some context. So anyway, John is still adamant that he's Captain America. The senator says not anymore. So John walks out while the guy is still talking to him. Later, John's still making excuses, still blaming everybody but himself. The girlfriend says he needs to talk to Lamar's parents. And then Julia Louis-Dreyfus walks in. Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. So they're introducing Madame Hydra after Hydra has been taken down. And she's played by Elaine from Seinfeld. Okay, I love me some Julia Louis-Dreyfus, but this was random as hell. Let me tell you. Um, I think it's just a one-off anyway, so maybe it's just a fun thing to include in there. Who knows? So she feeds John's ego. I would have killed. I would have killed him too. You did the right thing. Also, she says that the super soldier serum made him really valuable to certain people and basically offers him a job. I find myself wondering why no one has put John into court-ordered therapy like Bucky was. I mean, clearly he needs it. But why was this never suggested by anyone in that tribunal? I don't know. A new job is not what he should be thinking about right now, but, this is Madame Hydra, so what does she care? The Flag Smashers find out their followers have been arrested. This just makes Carly even more determined to do something crazy. Then we go to Zemo visiting the Sokovia Monument. I guess that's where Sokovia used to be. Bucky shows up with a gun. Zemo says Carly has been radicalized beyond salvation, and Sam didn't want to hear that, but Bucky knows what needs to be done. But Bucky says they're going to do it their way, and he points the gun. Zemo, to his credit, just stands there accepting this. He doesn't even look. He doesn't try to fight back. He doesn't even look upset. But there's no bullets in that gun. It was just a fake out. Then the Dormilaje show up and arrest him. And again, Zemo just accepts it. He's not angry. He even crossed off his name in Bucky's book and doesn't hold a grudge. And I know I'm not supposed to, but I kind of like Zemo now. It's weird. He's a bad guy, but he's a principled bad guy. And love it or hate it, he does stick to his code. So he's not as hateable as you might think, despite doing some pretty hateable stuff at times. And also there's the Zemo cut now, which, I can't really hate on that. I just can't. So they take Zemo back to prison. Io tells Bucky it's best if he steers clear of Wakanda for a while. He gets it, but he does ask her for a favor. And I guess the Wakandans are just feeling very charitable. Because he gets it. He gets the favor. Cut to Baltimore. Sam visits Isaiah Bradley again. He wants to make sense of the whole thing, wants to know what went wrong. And I guess, long story short, racism happened. Even though Isaiah was a super soldier, he could never be the next so-and-so, because America was always chasing the Great White Hope. His words, not mine. And then we get the whole story. Isaiah's wife died while he was in jail. They didn't let her. They didn't let him get any of her letters. They told her he was dead. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. A bunch of his him and his friends got shot up with different versions of the serum, which they were told was tetanus, so they didn't even know what they were getting. They were sent on missions even though the stuff was unstable. It started killing some of them. I guess they got captured at some point, and Isaiah heard the top brass talking about blowing the PW camp to hide the evidence, so he broke out of the facility, brought his men back, but it didn't matter. Eventually he was the only one left anyway that the serum didn't kill. And for saving all their lives, he got carved up and experimented on for 30 years. And eventually a nurse took pity on him and wrote up a fake report to have him declared dead and got him the letters. But at that point he was just done. And, good God, that is a depressing story. So Sam says they have to tell somebody about this, and the world's different now. They wouldn't react the same way. But Isaiah says he's dead. He wants his name buried, and nothing's changed, and he'd be dead in a day if he came back. They were worried his story would get out, so they erased him like they've been doing for 500 years, and they'll never let a black man be Captain America. Even if they did, no self-respecting black man would ever want to be. Yikes. So Sam leaves, wondering how the hell he could ever be Captain America after this, and I'm kind of thinking the same thing. And look, all right, look. This was a good scene, okay? The acting is good. It's a powerful moment, I guess. I know this is a sensitive topic. I understand that if you want a black man to be Captain America, maybe there's history and issues there that ought to be talked about. My deal is that this never seemed like it was an issue for Sam before. Like, it wasn't an issue until he met Isaiah, and then suddenly it became an issue. And I guess I'm struggling a little bit with the whole thing feeling kind of artificial. I thought Sam giving up the shield was about stuff relating to Sam's character, and I'm not saying this isn't, but it feels like something they manufactured afterward, just so they could make the choice that Sam made more about race than anything else. And, you know, I mean, Rhodey was working as the Iron Patriot in Iron Man 3. Yeah, he wasn't Captain America, but he was wearing the red, white, and blue. And none of this really warranted a mention then, but now suddenly it's a big thing. I mean, the inclusion of all this stuff, it just seems awkward. It just seems awkwardly done to me. I'm not criticizing. This may be on the writers for how they introduced all this stuff. Maybe there was a more organic way to do it. I don't know, but it just seems awkward. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, Sam goes home to visit his sister, and you know what that means. It's time for more stuff with that boat. Lots and lots of boat stuff. Buckle up, because here's where it gets really exciting. They can't sell the boat because it's too messed up. So Sam starts calling in some favors from the neighborhood people, because, their mom always helped everybody, and so now it's time for everybody to pay back and all that stuff. So a lot of the neighborhood people show up to help out. They bring some new parts over for the boat. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, Sam has government contracts. Can he seriously not afford to buy a new boat? I mean, if he's getting paid by the government, Sam should be fairly well off financially. Is this seriously above his pay grade, a frickin' boat? I guess so. I mean, you figure it out. Also, Bucky shows up to help out a little bit and to drop off a present from the Wakandans. So now Bucky is helping to fix the boat. He flirts with Sam's sister a little bit to annoy Sam. And after quite a while of this, of boat stuff, of fixing the boat and working on the boat and talking about the boat, he finally gets around to asking Sam what he wants to do about Carly, and Sam doesn't have an answer yet. So we cut to John lying to Lamar's parents about him killing the man who killed their son. He didn't. Lamar's mom says that she knows Lamar is resting easier knowing that the man who's responsible got his justice, and he was proud of John for becoming Captain America, and he was honored to be John's partner. And it's unclear what's going on in John's head right now, but this is just messing him up even further and feeding his delusion that he was doing the right thing and all of this. And I'm still not sure if he actually believes any of this or not. On some level, he doesn't. But he is just a mess of conflicting emotions right now, and it's not doing him any good. So back in Madripoor, Sharon Carter calls Bartrock because she has a job for him. And to be honest, I'm not sure what's happening here, since the next time we see Bartrock, he's working with Carly to kill Sam. So I don't know if there were cutscenes here or what, but this was confusing. More on that in a minute. So Bucky wakes up on Sam's couch to Sam's nephews playing with the shield. He's cool with that, though. He's been thinking about this whole thing a lot. And then, guess what? More boat stuff. Oh boy. Bucky and Sam take the water pump apart. But Sarah reads them the riot act because she specifically told Sam that the water pump was not the problem and kicks them off the boat. Thrilling stuff, you guys. Just thrilling. So finally, Sam and Bucky toss the shield around and they talk about stuff that they ought to be talking about. Bucky apologizes to Sam, says neither him or Steve really understood what it meant for a black man to be handed the shield. And the shield is the closest thing Bucky has left to a family, so when Sam retired it, Bucky felt like he had nothing left. So that's pretty much confirmation that Steve is dead now. Kind of a bummer. So Sam tells him it doesn't matter what Steve thought, and that Bucky needs to stop looking to other people to tell him who he is. And if he's still having those nightmares, then instead of stopping the bad guys he enabled as the Winter Soldier, he needs to go to the people he hurt and say sorry and make himself feel better. And then to make them feel better, he has to be of service to them. And that makes sense to Bucky. He feels a little bit better about all this. He says, call him when he has a lead on Carly, and he'll be there. They shake hands, and they seem like they're bros now, which is nice. More boat stuff. Wow. Sam is about to paint over the names on the boat, but finally Sarah decides that she can't sell it after all. Wow, that was a whole lot of build-up for nothing, really. Absolutely nothing. So Sam agrees because the boat is a part of their history, and this turns into a discussion about the history of the black people. And Sam wanting to go out and change the world while he knew that Sarah thought he was running away. But she never thought he was running away and says, he can't let Isaiah Bradley get in his head. And Sam's like, well, what would be the point of all the pain and sacrifice if I wasn't willing to stand up and keep fighting? So he finally accepts the responsibility that Steve gave him, and he gets a training montage. A training montage wherein the stunt double was a little too obvious a couple of times, just saying. He has trouble with the shield at first, but he gets better. And the thing about a montage is that it's supposed to imply the passage of time. But this all seems to happen over one afternoon. So, good on Sam for training his ass off, but maybe they could have taken out a little bit of the boat stuff to make more room for this. Come on. I'm not asking for a lot here. So Carly meets with Bartrock in Central Park, I guess? And he gives her a case of weapons. So Carly's flag smasher friend doesn't like that they're working with criminals now, but she's like, haven't you heard? We are criminals. He's going to get payback on Sam, and we get our killer. It's win-win. So she sends a message on her phone. Everyone in the park gets it. So they're all sympathizers, I guess. So they're going to make sure the GRC vote never happens, and also Bartrock is going to help them out so he can kill the Falcon. Which begs the question, what the hell was Sharon calling Bartrock about? She said she had a job for him, but was the job to bring weapons to the Flag Smashers? Did Sharon trick those weapons out so they'll be faulty and won't work? I'm confused about all this. I don't want to think that Sharon wants Bartrock to kill Sam. So either there's a twist coming or there's some missing scenes here. They may have cut something out and wires got crossed in the process. I don't know. I think maybe the weapons are all defaulty or something. I'm not sure what happened here, but something ain't right. If it's because there's missing scenes, I don't get that, because you're on a streaming service and episodes can be as long as you want them to be now. So either there's a twist coming or somebody fucked up. So Sam watches the news. The GRC is voting on the Patch Act that would move 20 million refugees back to their countries of origin, so the Flag Smashers ain't gonna like that. Torres calls with new intel, and he has all the locations of areas the Flag Smashers hit. They're all pinged on a map, and he just got a new ping that's in New York. So that's their next target. We cut to the GRC debating whether to even have a vote at all. One of the people in the park who got Carly's message works there, so he's up to something. The lights go out. The emergency lights go on. Meanwhile, Sam opens the case from Wakanda, and we don't see what's in it. And then in the post-credits stinger, John builds himself a new shield. Great, exactly what that guy needs right now. This was a weird episode structurally, in that the climax happened in the first scene, and the rest of it was all downtime. This kind of reminded me of the season 2 finale of Penny Dreadful, where they tried to have the climax early on, and then like the wrap up was like half the episode, and like there's the 3-act structure exists for a reason, and when you don't follow, and people who think they know better than the 3-act structure, that tends to not go so well, because Penny Dreadful had a habit of doing underwhelming finales, and that was one of them. And yeah, this is not the finale episode, but it kind of follows that same trajectory. As something like that. Because you do the big stuff first, and then the rest is just character and boat stuff and whatever. And it's very strange episode in that regard. It's really not a wise decision to structure your episode like this, because we've seen what happens on this show when the characters are on downtime. They do boat stuff, which is not the most riveting thing the MCU has ever done. They are spending a weirdly large portion of this show working on that boat. That better be the most awesome boat in the world when they get that thing fixed up, because otherwise, I don't know where this has all been going. You know, maybe the boat can transform into a plane or something. I don't know. Who the hell knows? Having said that, I don't dislike this episode, really. I mean, they're going back to the racial stuff, which still feels odd. Like the Iron Patriot thing in relation to this, it doesn't track in my head. It just doesn't. But it was easier to digest this time, since it didn't feel like it came out of nowhere anymore. And now we've got a better sense of how it relates to the whole Captain America thing. And even though I still think it's kind of out of left field that Sam struggling with becoming Captain America is now an issue of race more than anything else, the scenes with Isaiah are good. And I feel like I understand his situation better now. There was more nuance to it, and I mean, he got fucked over hard, did Isaiah. There's no question about that. But now it's become an issue of, well, is it the world that can't change, or is it Isaiah who can't change because of what the world did to him? We see Bucky and Sam put their differences aside and make up. Sam puts Bucky on a path that he needs to be on. I like that. Their conversation worked when they were talking about the stuff I thought the show would be about. So while the John Walker stuff is missing a few pieces, overall I think the character dynamics worked when they get to it. You just have to get through all the boat stuff first, and there's a lot of boat stuff in this episode. So I like things about this episode. I do think the race issue could have been introduced in a way that felt more organic than this, but it's getting better, I think. The real issue with this one is that there was just too much downtime. Normally there's rising and falling action, and here there was all the action in the first couple of minutes, and then there wasn't a whole lot in that long stretch for the rest of the episode, and I think they needed something there. So I don't know what their fascination with the boat is. I really don't. If I had to guess, I think maybe they blew their budget on that canyon sequence in the first episode, and this this was the one where they had to save a few pennies by just having characters sitting around and talking on a boat. Because that was a really jaw-dropping sequence in the canyon in the first episode, but it had to. They probably broke the bank on it, so this for a network shows, this tends to be why they do clip shows to save money for something else. Maybe that's what this was about. Hopefully they finish strong in the finale. I think the next episode is the last one. But yeah, there was just too much downtime here. Okay, and there it is. Jokaje13, thank you for the super chat. While I do like this show, the villains are just not good. I hate Carly and find her motives hypocritical. Zemo should have filled the role as the villain. Is she hypocritical? Yeah, kind of. But I think that's the point. I think we're meant to sympathize with her, but not necessarily like her. Yeah, she's a villain. She has sympathetic motivations, but she's doing bad things. She's. I think the moral grayness of it is the point. Would I have preferred Zemo? Yeah, just because I like Zemo. And who is Carly? She's a minor, a gender swapped version of a minor character in the comics. Yeah, so the comic fan in me would also have preferred Zemo. I do think Carly's interesting though, and I think at the end of the day, John Walker is probably the main event, not Carly. I think Carly's kind of like a mini boss that goes all the way through, and just keeps popping up. But yeah, I think John Walker is probably going to be like the final big bad there. Let's see. Kemi Kazi, I hope I got that right. Thank you for the $10. The racial part isn't bad, just kind of contradicting to me. Sam feels like they aren't ready for a black Captain America, but he contradicts that feeling when he tells Isaiah the world is different now. I think Sam was also kind of talking to himself in that moment. Because he wants to believe that too, but maybe he isn't sure about it. And maybe that's the whole point, is that he wanted to go out and change the world, and maybe they're trying to get him to a point where he thinks he can do that by being Captain America, you know? Okay. Comments. Let's see. I'm here to hear about your life, so don't say that's not what we're here for. Thank you. It's always weird when I hear stuff like that, because I tend to think I'm a pretty uninteresting person in real life. You should just make a playlist of the streams. I did. It should be up on the channel. Keep the live streams, please. Okay. Stream here, unlist them, and repost on another channel, maybe. Well, wouldn't that? I don't know if that would accomplish anything. Some people, so a bunch of you are saying do a second channel with the live streams, but keep streaming on here, but put the live streams on the second channel. Maybe build up an audience on the second channel and then start live streaming there exclusively eventually. I'm not sure. Adrenaline also probably enabled him to fight with the arm because he wasn't feeling the pain yet, maybe. Yeah, I guess. It just seems unusual to me because his arm was in a sling for the rest of the episode. I guess we don't know how fast super soldiers can heal, but it's still a little bit odd because, I mean, that arm broke. That was a sickening snap when that happened because even a super soldier had to feel that. The hate for John is super unrealistic. The government would never let him go, especially with the super soldier serum. Well, maybe they're considering it from a PR standpoint, because they made him their poster boy, and then he goes and kills someone and causes an international incident. And I know it's messed up, but like from an advertising perspective, it's like we can't have this guy representing us. We got to make an example of him, and super soldier or not. So I maybe it's a bit of a stretch, but I kind of get it, because they put all their eggs in this guy's basket, and then he went and screwed them over, and it's like I mean, they have to spin that somehow, and if they don't get rid of him, like how do they do it? Again, I know it's a stretch, but that's what I'm thinking. Sean Washington, that's a new one. Thank you for the super chat. Iron Patriot was an original. Didn't represent the U.S. like the symbol Captain America. Former Marine, family of war vets. I would be shaky to don the shield. Yeah, I guess. I still think it still seems odd to me that it didn't warrant a mention, at least in Rhodey's case, and then suddenly it's a huge thing for Sam. I don't know. I guess they could have said something. Maybe. I mean, they did have Rhodey appear at the beginning in episode 1. I mean, he could have. They could have him and Sam could have had a conversation about this at least. It wouldn't have had to be a long conversation, just to to discuss the whole thing and how they feel about that and what Rhodey's thoughts on the whole thing are. It wouldn't have had to be that much. Just acknowledge it, I'm totally on John Walker's side, except the part where he tried to kill Sam and Bucky, but it seemed like he was under drugs in that fight. No, he was having some kind of attack. Whether it was anxiety or some kind of reaction to the serum or something, but this guy is not well. Not mentally, not emotionally. Like the guy needs therapy. He needs to talk to somebody. Because, I mean, the guy absolutely has issues that he hasn't dealt with, and he needs to. That's why I'm saying, why is there no court-mandated therapy for this man? Bucky needed it, And, John Walker absolutely does. But no, we're just going to drum him out. That was a weakness of the episode. I agree with that. Let's see. Hope you're all okay. I loved Invincible episode 6. Yeah. Invincible is just an awesome show. I am a little bit annoyed that he doesn't just tell Amber that he's invincible. Because it seems like keeping a secret identity is not that big of a deal with how these people just use their powers out where anybody could be watching. I mean, he was practicing his landings from flying in their backyard with no costume and no mask at one point. Like, you're going to do that. Okay, clearly you're not too concerned that someone might be watching and blow your identity. Just tell your damn girlfriend that you're a superhero, dude. Why is he suddenly trying to keep it a secret? I mean, they've never, like, his dad, his parents have never really stressed the importance of the secret identity, so I don't know why he's trying so hard to keep it a secret from his girl, That part doesn't really make sense. Otherwise, I'm still loving Invincible. Val is apparently supposed to be in Black Widow. And we would have seen her already if it hadn't been kept getting delayed. Oh, I didn't know that. No, so she's going to be a recurring character? That is so strange that they introduced Madam Hydra like years after Hydra was taken down. What are they going to do with her now? Is she going to start a separate organization? Is she going to reform Hydra? Who knows? Yeah, Hydra's going to reform under Elaine. Maybe she'll bring David Putty along. The episode could have been 30 minutes long. Well, they definitely could have cut some of the boat stuff out. I mean, I don't think it needed to be as long as it did. 30 minutes, I don't know, but there was stuff they could have cut out, actually, absolutely. Zemo and Walker are the most interesting things about the show, and they're the bad guys. That's not how this is supposed to work, Disney. Sean Washington with another $5. I enjoy you. I only watch Batwoman because of you. You don't have to watch Batwoman, man. I would encourage you not to do so. You still watch the videos. You don't have to watch the show. Man, I cover everything in the show. It's not necessary for you to watch it. But it's okay to not get it. Our worlds are different. We see things differently. Bucky, Falcon, TTYL. Okay, cool. Yeah, I appreciate the dedication, but it's not necessary for you to watch Batwoman. It's really not. Oh, boy. You like Zemo because of his amazing dance moves. Oh, sure, that's part of it. I also like him because he's just... I like the character. Also, he's from the comics. He's a... I keep hoping we'll get a proper Baron Zemo at some point. I still, I think there's a lot more they can do with this guy. Zemo and John Walker are the best characters. No cap. Carly is a failed character. I don't think Carly's a failed character so much as she's just been overshadowed by people who have kind of demanded the spotlight a little bit more than her. Like, I mean, as comic fans, we're just naturally going to be drawn to Zemo and John Walker because it's Baron Zemo, it's U.S. Agent. I mean, who the hell is Carly? You know? I think we're just naturally drawn to these other people. And Carly is someone who they're trying to, how do I say this? They're trying to like work some real world type politics into the show, and you're using Carly as a vehicle for that. And some people that just doesn't work for them, you know. And I do agree. Ultimately, Zemo and John Walker have kind of proven to be more interesting than Carly. Yeah, I do agree with that. So yeah, it's kind of too bad for Carly. I do think she's interesting. She's just not as interesting as the others. Will Mangrum, thank you for the $5. You should review Swamp Thing. It's the worst. The worst episode is better than Batwoman's best. Well, that's not saying a whole lot. I think I kind of missed the boat with Swamp Thing. I mean, that was a while ago. And I didn't really see the point of reviewing it at the time because I think they didn't even really finish the first season, right? Before the show got killed because of I don't know, whatever the reason was. I heard it was good, but I mean now everybody else has seen it. It's been out for a while, so I don't think if I did a review on it, anybody would really care that much. I'm still in a position where I kind of have to talk about stuff that's really hotly debated or hotly talked about. That's that's trending right now, basically. Because I haven't reached a point where people will tune in just to see me, regardless of what I'm talking about. Because I could do a review of some older stuff. Like I could review like the Ghost in the like the original Ghost in the Shell movie. But if I did, no one would care because no one's talking about Ghost in the Shell right now. You know, some people they can talk about anything, and people will tune in because they just want to see that person. I'm not there yet. I think I've still got a ways to go before I reach that level. So I have to talk about something that's popular right now in order to get an audience. So yeah, I don't think there would be a lot of point in me talking about Swamp Thing. Okay. Sam forgets his guns in so many scenes he has no real reason. Unlike Bucky, who doesn't want to be the Winter Soldier, Sam has no... And it cuts off. Yeah, I mean, Sam does tend to forget that he used to use guns, doesn't he? That's a good point. There's no real reason for that, I guess. Maybe after the whole Cap thing went down and people wanting him to be the new Captain America, or Steve wanting him to be, he thought, well, Captain America doesn't use guns; he uses a shield. So maybe that was a choice, Bucky. Maybe that was a choice Sam made, or maybe the writers just forgot. I think they could explain it pretty easily if they were so inclined. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm skipping some of these. I just I don't want this thing to run too long because I gotta save my voice because I gotta do that Nevers video when I get done with this, and it's still that one turned out to be quite a lot longer than I thought it would. I thought I could do a shorter review of that. Turned out I couldn't. It just kept getting longer and longer. A boat that size is like $50,000 at least. Sam won't be getting paid much more than a soldier, so $50,000 is a lot for him. Well, given what they have Sam doing, I mean, is there anybody else who can really do what he does? I mean, look at the missions they sent him on. The whole thing in the canyon. I mean, if he's not getting well paid for that, something's wrong. I don't know. It just seems odd to me that Sam wouldn't be doing fairly well financially with all the stuff that he does. Neither do I with Sharon. Okay, so it's not just me. So it's not. It's not just me who didn't understand the Sharon thing. Could it be that Sharon is secretly working for the power broker? Possibly. Maybe Sharon secretly is the power broker. Who the hell knows at this point? I mean, I'm trying to make sense of the Sharon thing. It's something is not computing with that. Musa's Descendant, thank you for the super chat. It's gotten to the point where any instance of a black character explaining their racial experience in a show is deemed as woke, and it's starting to get annoying. Sam understood Isaiah but disagreed. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I didn't get a woke impression here. Like, I mean, the whole. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. I think it's an issue of people just injecting real world stuff into something that was people thought was going to be escapism. Because this is kind of the first time stuff like this has been addressed in the MCU, and I think it's jarring for some people. I know this stuff happened, and so I guess it should be talked about, but it just, I think it kind of took people a little bit off guard, and I mean, just because there's a discussion about race and racial issues, it doesn't mean something is going woke. It means, no, this is real stuff, and it really happened, and maybe we should talk about it. And it's not a question of if it's done at all, it's a question of how it's done. So, like, when they first introduced Isaiah, I was like, whoa, this is coming out of nowhere. So I got, and then there was the whole thing with the cop, and I'm thinking, oh, is this man bothering you? We're like, what the fuck? Like, where is this coming from? That felt like there were some woke elements coming in here. This episode, I think, was better. It was a little more. I think the whole thing was handled a little more tactfully. So I didn't get a woke impression in this episode. I didn't. Just because they're talking about racial issues doesn't mean it's getting woke. It's all a matter of how it's done. Sam actually should be wealthy. Hazard pay for military and being overseas pays very well. Yeah, so I know, right? I mean, Sam should be able to pay for a boat. I mean, he's doing government missions. I mean, he's doing something that nobody else seems to be able to do. He's the frickin' Falcon. He should be getting paid fairly well, you know? It's just it just doesn't really make sense to me. Okay. And I'm just I'm sorry, I'm skipping around again. It's just yeah, didn't Quentin Tarantino mess with the three-act structure in Pulp Fiction? Well, yeah. I'm not saying some people can't do it and pull it off, but Quentin Tarantino's a smart guy. He knows how to do this stuff. Uh, and that's his whole thing. He likes to skip around with the timeline and go from here to here to here to here to here. Yeah, that's just how he likes to write, and he knows how to do it. Um, but unless you're someone like a Quentin Tarantino, you probably shouldn't deviate too far from that formula, because the formula exists for a reason. Okay. Danny D, thank you for the super chat. $24.99. Wow. Thank you so much. A little appreciation for having the mental strength to watch all that crappy Batwoman and give a review of each episode. Looking forward to more reviews of hopefully good shows in the future. Oh, I've got one coming. Spoiler: The Nevers is a good show. You should watch it. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get that one done for tomorrow, but I'm gonna have to shoot it and edit the whole thing tonight, which will probably take all night. So I want to have it done for tomorrow because the next episode is dropping tomorrow. So I'm pretty late with that one, but it's on at the same night. It's on the same night as Batwoman, so I got to do Batwoman first because those have to go up by Wednesday. So that put me behind. So yeah, but yeah, you should watch The Nevers. That's a good one. It was it was very cathartic writing that review. It was like, wow, I'm actually enjoying it for once. Because normally writing those reviews is so stressful. Because with Batwoman, it's like, oh god, I hate this so much. And it's being fueled by something other than hate. It was a weird experience. It was very strange. I enjoyed it though. Let's see. I want a John Walker show where they drop him into a terrorist war zone and he just murderizes fools. Well, I mean, I suspect they're going to want to keep John Walker around for other things. I don't think you can wrap up his story in one more episode. I mean, they're definitely setting him up for more stuff. So maybe you'll get that. Unpopular opinion, my top 3 Tarantino films are Jackie Brown, Kill Bill Volume 2, and Django Unchained. I love Kill Bill. Kill Bill is one of my favorite movies. Haven't seen Jackie Brown. Django Unchained I felt could have been a little shorter. But yeah, I mean, I love Kill Bill to death. That movie's great. See, I have zero sympathy for Carly and the Flag Smashers. They are just terrorists. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, a terrorist with sympathetic motivations is still a terrorist. So I can kind of feel bad for them, but I mean, they still need to go down. And Sean Washington, thank you for the $10. Isaiah Bradley is canon, and the show is about Sam. Read what actually happened to Isaiah. It's a bit worse. I'm shocked Marvel is going there. I appreciate it, although uncomfortable. I'm Sam. Well, yeah, I know Isaiah Bradley is a character in the comics. So I believe they kind of introduced him as part of Patriot's backstory from Young Avengers. I don't know if he was a thing before that, but yeah, I know he's in there. I was never really never a Young Avengers guy, so I didn't really read that stuff. But yeah, I know he got dealt a shit hand, did Isaiah? I'm not. Yeah, there's no denying that. So yeah. Okay, more comments. It's annoying the way this happens because they just post them all at once. I keep losing my place. How can you not understand Isaiah's hate when his whole life was ruined and he was tortured for doing the same thing as Steve? Did I say I didn't understand it? No, I get it. Isaiah got fucked over. No, I totally understand why he feels the way he does. What I'm struggling with a little bit is how this whole thing relates to Sam's decision to take up the shield or not take up the shield, because that was never an issue. All this stuff was never an issue for Sam before, until he meets Isaiah, and then suddenly it becomes a huge issue. So I'm just... There's a feeling of all this stuff kind of coming out of nowhere, just to create this story when it didn't feel like that was a thing before. And where the hell was I? Racism is such a big thing in America, and you're saying that you don't understand Sam's struggle. Come on, man, just look at George Floyd and how black people are being treated. I'm not saying I don't understand Sam's struggle. I'm saying it didn't seem to be a thing until suddenly this show made it a thing. It's like they're trying to create this whole new thing for Sam that didn't seemed to be there before. Because, well, we got to do a show about this guy now. I understand that it's a real thing, but in relation to Sam's character, it's like, well, it feels weird that it's suddenly, so much about all this stuff when it didn't seem to be before. And I'm probably not explaining that very well. What happened to the Superman and Lois reviews? Well, I decided to stop doing those. But when I started doing Superman and Lois, it was on the condition that I was leaving myself the option of taking a week off if I wanted to review something else. Because if I did Superman and Lois every week, in addition to Batwoman, it wouldn't leave me much time to do anything else. So I took an episode off to review, I think, Godzilla vs. Kong. And then it's like, well, other stuff is going on now, too. And also, the Superman Lois reviews weren't really blowing up in views anyway. The viewership was kind of tapering off pretty quickly. So I figured it was more practical to use that time of the week to just talk about different things and try to grow my audience that way. Also, Superman and Lois is on hiatus now anyway. Sean Washington with another $10. Thank you so much. What reason do you believe Sam turned down the shield in episode 1? Just curious, brother. I like your opinion. Thank you so much. Wow. Well, it's tricky because it kind of changed. I thought at the beginning that it was a question of Sam not really feeling like he was up to the task, or not feeling worthy of it. Maybe it's because of an insecurity that Sam had, or something like that. But then later it changed. Because then he meets Isaiah Bradley, and then suddenly the whole thing becomes about a racial issue. And and that's why it feels awkward to me, because again, it never seemed to be that never seemed to be part of what was influencing Sam's decision until suddenly it's kind of forced in there. And suddenly it's like the biggest thing influencing his decision. And I just like to know, like, where did this come from all of a sudden? Because before he met Isaiah, it's like that didn't seem to be a part of it. So, I mean, I guess if you'd asked me after episode 1, I would have said, well, I don't know, maybe Sam just needs to work himself up to it, That's a big responsibility, taking up the shield. Maybe he just felt like he couldn't handle the pressure or something. After episode 5, well, it's clearly about the race thing. And, I don't know, it feels like they switched gears somewhere along the way. And I'm not sure why. Sorry about my voice. Shit. These damn allergies. They never end. They never go away. Okay. New York is the worst place to do a terrorist attack. New York has got Daredevil, Frank Castle, Peter Parker, Doctor Strange, Jessica Jones. Yeah. And Luke Cage. And I guess technically Iron Fist. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, those guys can't do everything. You know, Doctor Strange might be in the mirror dimension right now. Who knows? Maybe Peter Parker's on another class field trip in Europe or something. Sam just got back. He spent 2 years as a felon and 5 years blipped. He only just started working again. Yeah, I guess. But you know what? If the man is going to suit up as the Falcon and fly through a canyon while he's getting shot at by helicopters, I expect that man to be well paid, damn it. You know, if he's not getting a big paycheck from that mission, there's something wrong. Nobody can aim a round shield like that and catch it every time. Remember when it was such a big deal that the Winter Soldier caught the shield? Even Cap was like, whoa, who are you? Well, yeah, that's why Spider-Man threw in that line in Civil War. That thing does not obey the laws of physics at all. I think it's one of those caveats you just have to give them. It's like, it's TV, it's a comic book. You know, there's some things you have to take with a grain of salt. I kind of wondered if maybe Cap had some kind of magnetic gizmo on his arm that always like attracted the shield back there. But yeah, I mean, it's always worked this way in the comics. That thing always just returns to him somehow. Does it make sense? No, it never made sense. But that's how the shield works. I do think it's an inconsistency that a non-super soldier can use it that well. Because if that shield is going to do damage to something you throw it at, then wouldn't it do the same amount of damage when it comes back and you have to catch it? But if it's a non-super soldier throwing the shield, it doesn't have that same force behind it. So if Sam catches it, if he throws it and catches it, he should be okay. But then it probably isn't going to do a lot of damage to the thing it hits. Again, doesn't really make sense. But hey, that thing does not obey the laws of physics at all. So maybe it's one of those things where you just have to shrug your shoulders and say, it's a comic book, you know? And Sean Washington with another $5. Thank you. You're very generous. LOL, you were so close. Sam was hesitant because of how he would be viewed. Brother, it was subtle, but not too many people on the other side of the fence. Okay. All right. Yeah, so maybe the race thing was always in the back of Sam's mind, I guess? I don't know. Maybe they could have alluded to that earlier, or maybe it was too subtle and I just missed it. I don't know. Maybe because I wasn't looking for it until the Isaiah thing happened. Okay. Yeah, I should go back and look again. Okay. Excuse me. Imagine the book deals and TV documentary deals Sam could get to make loads of money for his sister. They must have that kind of stuff in their world. Yeah, wouldn't you love to read Sam's autobiography? Bet that guy's got stories for days. All right. All right, my voice is starting to die out, so let's try to finish this up, because I've still got a lengthy video to record tonight. I really prefer to not lose my voice before I have to shoot the next Batwoman review, because I always lose my voice when I do those. Okay. Everything seems to happen in New York. Well, yeah, welcome to Marvel. Like, New York is like the epicenter for like 90% of all the superhero, supervillain action in that whole world. Something about New York just attracts all the crazies. The Shield supposedly got some magnetic thing to get it returned. Yeah, not that I know of, but to me it just makes sense. Because unless you're some kind of mad genius at geometry, there's just no way you could possibly throw that thing, have it ricochet off like 10 different things, and then return to your hand every time. It just wouldn't happen. So to have some kind of magnetic gizmo to just attract the shield back to your hand, that just makes sense to me. It should have been Bucky versus Walker, not 2v1 fight. It's not like Walker is Iron Man. They definitely made Bucky look like he's just a normal man on this show versus the badass super soldier he really is. Well, bear in mind, John Walker took the upgraded super soldier serum made by dude, I forget his name, but the dude said his super soldier serum was like new and improved. So maybe it was an upgraded version of whatever Steve took, or whatever was done to Bucky, excuse me. So maybe Walker is just more powerful. And again, we don't really know how strong Bucky is. I guess he didn't take the super soldier serum, but we know he went through processes and procedures that were super soldier adjacent. So I guess he's in the conversation, but we don't know where he rates as opposed to an actual super soldier like Steve and like John Walker now. And again, all the Flag Smashers, they took that upgraded super soldier serum too. So they could all be stronger than Bucky. We don't really know. So if Bucky is fighting people who are stronger than he is, naturally, I mean, he's going to have a tough time. What if Bullseye tossed the shield? No, if Bullseye tossed the shield, some motherfucker's going to be dead. Because that's Bullseye. If he gets something in his hands that he can throw, you're dead. That's just how Bullseye operates. Anything the guy touches is a deadly weapon. All right. Boy. Okay. Sam gets no vet money? Yeah, I mean, Sam should be getting paid. Sam should be getting paid. That just seems strange to me that he's hard up for money. Yeah, he got blipped and he was on the run for 2 years, but like, did he have no money saved up? Is he not getting paid well for the work he's doing now? It just seems weird. Nagel, Dr. Nagel, that was his name. Thank you. Watch the power broker be revealed to be Ralph Boner Jr. Ralph Boner. That still makes me laugh. I mean, it was kind of a cheat. Kind of a cop-out when they pulled that one, but damn, I had to tip my cap and just kind of applaud them for having the balls to troll everybody that badly. Because they must have known there was going to be a pushback for that thing, but they didn't care. I mean, Like, this troll job is too good to not do it. That was their mentality going into the Ralph Boner thing. Uh, in a weird way, I had to respect them for it. We actually do know Captain, I believe, can lift 1 ton, and so can Bucky. If he's super soldier like Cap, he should be able to do the same. That fight with the fake Cap and the 2 morons was awful. This show is awful. Well, I think you're thinking about the comics. In the MCU, it's different. Like, in the MCU, Cap's strength seems to be comparable to Spider-Man's. Because, I mean, they seemed like fairly evenly matched in Civil War when they went at it. And we don't really know, again, we don't really know where Bucky rates on the power scale, because he's not technically a super soldier. He's something similar that Hydra did. And Hydra wouldn't have used the wouldn't have used the same procedure that was done to Steve. So Bucky's probably around that same level, but we don't know where, like, exactly where. And I think it's a safe assumption that John Walker is probably above Bucky on the power scale, because the serum that he took was the new and improved version. But again, it's kind of it's a little unclear where exactly super soldiers rate on the power scale because in the movies it's a little different than it is in the comics. Okay, a bunch of people saying that Bucky got nerfed. I don't think it's a question of Bucky being nerfed. I think it's more along the lines of him being messed up from his time as the Winter Soldier and him not wanting to live a life of violence so much anymore. I mean, it doesn't change that he's really good at violence, but dealing with all the stuff he is, I think he's probably thinking, look, it's better for my mental health that I don't hurt people anymore. He probably doesn't like hurting people, and he doesn't want that to be a part of his life. I mean, he's doing this stuff now because it has to be done, but I don't think he takes any joy in it, unless it's John Walker. He probably enjoyed roughing that guy up, but I think it's more a question of Bucky just pulling his punches because, he didn't want to hurt the Dormelage. He didn't want to. He probably didn't want to do a lot of the stuff that he has done. He does it because he has to. Now, he definitely took a serum, but it was Zola's knockoff to Steve's in the first Avenger movie. Yeah, so maybe Bucky has an inferior version of a super soldier serum, or a knockoff version. So you combine that with the cyborg arm, it probably puts him in the same ballpark as super soldiers, but we don't know how much more powerful these new super soldiers are, because it's probably safe to assume that the new super soldiers are higher than the older ones, are just more powerful than the older ones were. And Amusa's Descendant, thank you again for another super chat. I feel like if Bucky wanted to kill John, he could. Yeah, but well, Bucky does. I don't think Bucky wants to kill anybody. His whole thing is he's trying to make amends for all the people he did kill when he was the Winter Soldier. He don't want to kill any more people. He wants to put that behind him. And again, John appears to be fairly powerful. I would put money on John being more powerful than Bucky. What the heck, man? What the heck, man? Why wasn't I sent a notification? If you weren't sent the notification, it's because YouTube screwed up. And YouTube does that a lot. You can be subscribed, and you can ding the bell icon to be notified, but sometimes YouTube just does not send notifications. I get that a lot. Like, there's people I'm subscribed to that post new videos, and I don't get notified about it. Because YouTube is screwed up. That's why I always say, follow me on Twitter. Use the link in the description. Follow me on Twitter, because I always post a notification on Twitter when there's a new video or a new live stream. Except last week when I forgot to post a notification. That was on me for being a dumbass. But if you always want to be notified about a new video or a live stream, the best way is to make sure you're subscribed. If you're already subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed. Ding the bell icon if you hadn't done that yet, and click the link in the description. Follow me on Twitter. Between all those things, you should be notified about new videos or new live streams somehow. If it's not by YouTube, it'll be on my Twitter. But yeah, YouTube is messed up because they don't always notify you, and they should, but they don't because, well, I don't know. Sty Games, thank you for the $6.99. If the power broker turns out to be Agatha, I would not complain. Agatha is currently in a mental prison, being trapped as being forced to act as neighbor lady from WandaVision in suburban New Jersey. So it's probably not Agatha. I don't know. After this episode, I think it could turn out to be Sharon Carter somehow. I mean, I can't make that compute in my brain, but I don't know. Something about that Sharon Carter scene is just not adding up. Why would she call Bartrock? She had a job for him, and then Bartrock shows up with the Flag Smashers, giving them weapons. Like, what? I don't know. Either there's a twist coming with that, or there's some kind of twist coming with the power broker, because we haven't even seen who that is yet. I'm assuming they're saving the power broker for some kind of big reveal. And if the big reveal is that Sharon is not somehow related to the power broker or connected to him, or secretly is the power broker, then what was that scene? What was the scene in this episode about? Something ain't adding up with that. Excuse me. Is the next one the finale, or are there 3 more? No, I believe the next one is the finale. I still wish they would explain why the government hasn't bombed the Flag Smashers into dust or hit them with drone strikes. It's because they can't find them. They can't find them. They have sympathizers all over the place that are hiding the Flag Smashers. So they probably got safe houses, hidden all over Europe. There's no way Sharon could amass all that wealth and power in just 6 months. Sharon got blipped. Okay, well, there's also that time because, I mean, we're talking about everything she's done since Civil War, because she got, I guess she had to go on the run after Civil War. So she would have had something set up during that time, I guess. We don't know how long she's been in Madripoor for. See, I am pissed they killed Battlestar. In the comics, Battlestar got the super soldier serum from the power broker. Yeah, I liked Lamar. I thought they could have done more with him. I think this led to some interesting stuff with John. It just sucks that we had to lose we had to lose Lamar, because I mean he was a good character. I thought there was more they could have done with that guy. I thought she explained that she was alive for the 5 years. Did she? I don't know. There's a comment here that said she got blipped. I don't remember. Yeah, that Sharon scene could be paid off years down the line. Who knows? Yeah, maybe that's a seed they're planting for the future. Because Sam's. I don't know. Sam is going to try to get Sharon's name cleared, or he said he was. But I don't know. Maybe Sharon's got her hand in some other pies. I mean, I don't know. Something about that Sharon scene just is not adding up. I feel like there's got to be more to that story. There's got to be some kind of reveal there. Otherwise, it just does not make sense. Why did Walker make a shield out of steel when it's likely to get destroyed very easily against the Flag Smashers? Maybe steel was the only thing he had access to. It's not like he can make himself a vibranium shield. And who knows? Plus, it's not like the guy is thinking very clearly right now. Maybe he just went into a metal shop and says, "Okay, what have I got to work with here? Okay, well, I can use this and this and this, and that'll do for now until I get something better." Calls Bartrock George the actor's real name. Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah, look everyone, it's George St. Pierre. I don't know. Maybe they changed his name for the show. They've done that with stuff before, with other characters. Or maybe that was a gaffe on the actor's part, and the director just didn't catch it. Unless they're going to take Battlestar's body and experiment on him. Possibly. I mean, he seemed pretty dead the last time we saw him. I'm not sure what good that would do. Who knows? You know what? I think we can probably end it there, guys. I'd go a little bit longer, but I got my voice is dying out here, so I gotta take some cough drops or something, and then set up and do the Nevers review. So that's gonna take me a while, and I gotta get that thing up for tomorrow. So I gotta get an early start with that. So thanks everybody for tuning in today. Thanks to all our commenters. Thank you for all the super chats too. We got a bunch of them here. Joe Kage 13, thank you. Kemi Kaze, thank you. I hope I got your name right. Sean Washington with several super chats. Thank you so much. Will Mangrum, thank you. Musa's Descendant, thank you. Danny D with $24.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Sean Washington with a number of super chats totaling $25. Thank you. Thank you very much. Musa's Descendant, thank you. And Sty Games with $6.99. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. These are very helpful to me. These are what make the live streams worth doing. Even though, from a financial perspective, even though I suspect the live streams are killing my analytics, they have been very helpful because this, I'm not getting rich, at least not yet as a YouTuber. So this helps a lot. So I'm going to have to make some kind of decision with the live streams. There was a lot of support in the chat room about just starting a second channel and putting all the live streams on that. I don't know. Maybe we could just load them on there and start with that, and then if I can build enough of an audience for it to monetize it, then just do the live streams on there exclusively. I don't know. So I'll do the finale of Falcon Winter Soldier next week, and then maybe we'll make a change. I'm not sure about that. I'll have to think on it, and but when I figure out what I'll do about that, I'll let you guys know. So thanks everybody for talking to me in the lives in the live chat. Thank you again for all the super chats. I will talk to you guys again on Saturday for the finale of Falcon Winter Soldier. In the meantime, we've got Batwoman on the Batwoman review on Wednesday as usual. We've got the review of the Nevers, which will, fingers crossed, be out tomorrow. I'm going to get to work on that after I finish up here. And yeah, I guess next week will be the Mortal Kombat review. So stay tuned for that. Thank you everyone again for tuning in. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.